Bitcoin crypto crash. How deep will it go? Are we near a crypto bottom of this dump? Is the price going to drop down for Bitcoin all the way into $80,000 or $82,000 region? Or are we starting to see signs where altcoins may be bottoming? We're going to be getting into all this and more. We got some charts. We got some signals. We got the family here. We're going to make sure that we can make sense of what's going on in this market so we can stay on the right side of the trend. And I did make a purchase this morning. I am buying the fear. What are you doing right now? Let me know in the chat, the live chat right now, as we get prepared to get going. Let me know. Are you buying? Are you selling? Or are you just, another opportunity sitting on your hands and doing nothing? I hope a lot of people aren't capitulating, because we're seeing a lot of fear in the market, but we're seeing some really good signals and possibilities for what may be to come. So everybody, let's get active in the live chat. Let me see that you're alive. Bitcoin, crypto crash. What's next? Let's get into it. Let's go. Down, 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 down. The market just feels like it's going down. It's just crashing. It's over. But then look at this chart. I mean, it looks pretty damn healthy to me, right? We get so locked in on this time frame right here that's like, oh my God, it's over. This is a 24-minute chart. Even on the 2-hour chart, I mean, that is a pretty big dip. This does get a bit scary when we need the price to go up. But what do we see? A 10% drop on this move, but all the way from the top up here. Let's go. This is the top right here, 109. Drag it down. We see we're at about a 21% dip from the high that we had back here on this date, back here, January 20th, down to right now, we're 85,000, and it feels like everything's over. We come over here, we look at the others chart. It feels like everything's over, but wait, others chart, Bitcoin, they're both dropping. So what do we make of this? When we zoom out on these charts and we look at what's going on, look at the bubbles here on the monthly. It feels like a bear market, but I'm here to tell you, if you just zoom in a little bit, go to the weekly, get a little bit more green, get on the daily. Not so much green on the daily either, because we had that big dip. But then what do we see on the hourly? We're getting a bit of bounce across the entire market. So what are we to do right now? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the family. We're here to talk some sense into what's going on in this market. Make sure we're making the right decisions and we're not acting in fear, meaning capitulating, selling, blah, blah, blah. If you want to sell, sell. If you need to take profits, if you want to hedge, if you need to hedge, then you need to do what's right for you, absolutely. But if you're doing it out of fear that the bull market's over, then I think you are on the wrong side of what's going on. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're feeling sensible about what's going on, because when we look at this market and we realize we are under, oh my God, we are under $3 trillion market cap right now for the entire total crypto market. But just red across the board. Look at this. Oh, a little bit of green there on Mantra, a little bit of green on Athena USDE. Okay. This should be, obviously it's a stable coin. That's actually a pretty big swing if you ask me myself, but, generally, we're seeing a bit of a pullback in the market. So what are we doing about it? I did make a purchase this morning. I'll go over what that was here in a little bit. I wish I could have done more, but I'm stretching myself thin right now. How many of you are feeling this? I'm so cash poor. And don't worry, I've got quite a bit of assets. But I'm so cash poor because I'm taking advantage of everything I can in this crypto market before it does, and it will run away from us. So is it frustrating right now that it's not just going up? Sure, maybe. But I think the time horizons have just adjusted. There's a 4-year cycle. There's a halving cycle. There's a global liquidity cycle. There's a business cycle. There's the election cycle. And all these things seem to be lined up and also a slight bit of contention with each other. But I do think, based on where we're at with crypto on the world stage, I think the inevitability of up, and it's not going to be for every asset. You have to know that. Some of the alts in your portfolio right now will likely fail. Some of them will fail in the next 6 months. Some will fail in the next 3 years. Some will, you've got to diversify and make sure that you're not over allocating into taking on too much risk in one specific area, minus, I would say, unless Bitcoin is the asset that you have. And even within that, you got to make sure that you have a time horizon beyond when you need the money. If you need the money, then you start acting more emotionally, meaning like putting your money that you're going to pay for rent into this because when it goes up, that's when you fuck yourself. I'm sorry, I got to use a curse word there because it's the truth. You need to invest in this marketplace, in this asset class, in this asset niche, smart, and realize that there's the biggest players in the history of the world coming into this market right now. Only just becoming aware of it, and that cascade has only just begun. Understanding that also means that the types of money that can push the traditional markets around is now here in this crypto ecosystem. And the market cap of this ecosystem is so small, especially when you divide it asset by asset. It's so easy for these big players to push it around. So how much of this is manipulation? Well, the answer is who cares? It doesn't matter because you're never going to know how, when, where, why a major player is going to manipulate. Now we can identify it. I did the video, I think 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, about the Binance manipulation that was likely present. And we break something like that down periodically. So you realize that it's not just, oh, people are selling because they don't want this. No, there are big forces, big players out there that are taking advantage. If the market starts moving down a little bit, then they'll dump a hell of a lot more and push the market further than it would have gone, taking advantage of lower prices, liquidating people that are leveraged long. And then as the market starts to move up, they'll throw money back in and push it higher than it would have gone, taking advantage of people that leverage short. So the flushing of leverage in this market is a regular thing. This is not new. And you know what I mean? Well, we got to take advantage of what's happening in the market because it is giving us signal. So let's go ahead and dive on into that. Again, welcome to the show. My name is Kelly Kellum. Thank you to our channel partners, CoinW, NordVPN, and Arculus. All the links are down below in the description. So check in there. There's some great deals. I mean, especially with everything that's gone on in the last week with the Bybit hack. And it's not just Bybit. There's been hacks on a daily basis we're seeing between bridges and between exchanges and between phishing. Make sure you get yourself the best crypto cold storage solution out there, Arculus. Head over to getarculus.com and use code BitLab20 for 20% off so you can make sure to protect your crypto so that you can protect your future. That's what this is all about. Again, head over to getarculus.com, use code BitLab20, BitLab20 for 20% off. Make sure you're protecting your crypto from all of these nefarious actors out there. And of course, also make sure you head over to nordvpn.com and /BitLab. Again, that's nordvpn.com /BitLab. You can get 4 months free. Make sure you're protecting your identity online, whether it's from banking fraud, whether it's from crypto, being able to log into certain things that are geo sort of locked out. Make sure you're taking advantage of the opportunities that we're trying to set up for you. And because we try to get the best deals and everything for you. And of course, sign up for our free traders group. It's right down below in the description. Deposit money, get bonuses back. And it's all the money that you get to utilize. Now, diving into everything going on in the market right now, let's get through it. Because this is what it feels like. Let's acknowledge it. Bought the dip, yay. And then another dip. What the hell? Oh, then the dip of the dip. That's the bottom, right? And then now we're at the dip of the dippity dip. This is where we're at right now. We're at the dip of the dippity dip. As silly as that sounds, it just feels like can it go any lower? Yeah, it can. And we have been outlining this on the stream for the last 2 months with the price action potential to have this washout to come back down into this zone, to retest somewhere in this level. We have the order block here. We have these range highs here. We turn on all the lines and bars and all the stuff. We also have the CME futures gap that is down in this region as well, basically $78,000 to $80,000. Will we get that move all the way down there? Who knows? But let's break it down. Let's see what the data says. How you doing, Granny's Garden? How you doing, Jesse Drex? How you doing, Falco? Steady Bug. Good to see you back here. Renegade Designers. Alexandra G, the best crypto moderator here in the space. Andy D, how you doing? Dagwata Daswagatron? There you go. It's a lot interesting name. One House Productions. Museum of Corruption, Green Day Profits. We got the fam jam here. So let's get into it. Let's talk about what's going on, because this is getting scary, right? This is getting scary because it lost. Now we have, coming down, we have the higher low here, even with the wick, but now we're getting a lower lower of this entire range. So are all these lines thrown out the window? Is this horizontal line enough to be the bottom? Are we going to see further price action to the downside? I want to point out something, and that is this chart right here. Let me zoom out a little bit because I got to let the volume profile load. Give it 1 second. There we go. This is the important thing that we're watching right now. The fact that the price is falling into this zone, which is the bottom range of where all this volume traded. This is the wider this is, the more volume traded. So this point right here is the highest amount of volume, the number of Bitcoin that is traded at that price range. See, very few Bitcoin traded, a lot of Bitcoin traded. This is a point of control, this teal line that comes out. The point being here, you see you have this big shelf all through here, which basically is from here and directly below us, all the way down to about $72,000 to $73,000. It's actually below the CME futures gap, where there's very little volume that's been traded, basically, and you can see it. I mean, look at this. We broke a previous all-time high. This was that previous all-time high here. And then once we went from here to here, all this is just moonshot candles just slicing right through there. Not many Bitcoin traded in this price range. This is called an inefficiency in the market. Price action tends to come back and fill in that inefficiency to say, okay, where are the bulls going to come in? Boom. If it does come all the way down to here, it would be completely sound bull market behavior for that to happen. Now, on the flip side of that, coming back over to this is where it gets interesting. When we are looking at this band, these three bands, we have the short-term holder cost basis, which is this line. We have the 21 week simple moving average, which we're kind of pinched between the short-term holder cost basis and the 21 week moving average. And then of course we have the 200-day moving average right here, the lowest one, which is currently at about $81,000. It does get a little scary being below the short-term holder cost basis, but we've seen that we lost it here and we still rallied. We see we lost it here. We still rallied. In fact, these actually acted as this is where the low was. But even here, we lost a 200-day moving average, which was a bit more scary. We did it also here. So will we get that same move down here into that $75,000, $77,000, $78,000 range and do the same thing that we've done a few times already in this bull trend? It gets scary because in traditional assets, a majority of any asset, when you start getting below the 200-day moving average, you start questioning, like right here, we lost it, but then look at this, came up, rejected at it, and that was the real establishment of the bear market. Why? Because this rejected at the short-term holder cost basis, the 200-day moving average, all these signals really substantiated this bear market trend that was established. In this case, look, this did break down. It did reject, but we got a double bottom here, and it did break right back above. So we want to really pay attention to this. And again, I am not saying that the price is going to do that. I'm saying we need to be prepared if and when it does do that. Shake and bake. How you doing? Good morning, lurking. We're all here lurking together. Good morning, BitLab fam, says food is life. Veteran crypto. Bad Fox, how you doing? We got the homies in the vibe today. And looks like, ouch, Master looks like 250 and dropping. That must hurt. That must hurt. A lot of people were so bull. I have even quite a few friends that had 6 figures in options on Master that they made a lot of money and then they took some profit and the market has just gone such the opposite direction. The problem with that, to your point, Steady Bug, is if MicroStrategy continues dropping, it has in some ways acted like a sort of leading correlation with Bitcoin. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. But watching this, we're still in safety zone. We're still safe. We're above these 3 bands. We still haven't even tested this previous range high, which is about $74,000. So we got to pay attention to what's happening here because it feels so scary. But very regularly, we've seen these things get very scary, even like right here. Look at this, big wick down. We found the bottom, and then we got the move to the upside. We got some charts to really highlight that here in just a second. Again, I want to welcome everybody into the show. As in, I see we got a huge amount of people out in the show, welcome to the BitLab family. I can guarantee you this is not going to be your last time here. We break down the charts. We break down the signals. It doesn't matter if it's bullish or bearish. We're going to give you the clear picture with an unbiased look at the data so we don't get so trapped in the emotions of price and hope and fear and greed. We can use all those sentiments to make sure we're making the right decisions in this market. And sometimes the right decision is patience. So thank you again for everybody tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, ding the bell. We got a number of people, I'm sure, tuned in here on Twitter as well. Let me kind of see over here. By the way, we got about 300-400 people on Twitter watching, on X, I should say. If you do open that, I just want to highlight, I do see all your messaging. If you click on this, you see this on the right side right here. You can chat. Oops, what happened there? Say discard. You can chat here. I can see it. Everybody, let's get active. This is supposed to be a community, so let's do this together, everybody. Now, let's go ahead. We got some great data to go through, so let's go through it. We are still well under $100,000, so that deal is still available. lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. Don't just go to lab.bitlabacademy.com. Go to lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. And we've got a huge integration coming up with BitLab, Discover Crypto, Blockchain Basement, all in one place. It's going to be more expensive, but if you lock this deal in now, we are going to be honoring people that are members of BitLab at that price over on that new integration. So you got to lock it in before that happens though. But there's still stuff in there now. I did a member stream this morning for all the members. And also you get the member streams here on YouTube if you're a member here on YouTube as well. And the way to do that is just make sure you're subscribed. Turn on your notifications. I do the member streams this morning. I did it this morning. I put it to public. If you had your notifications on, you would have seen that private member stream. I had it for public for 10 minutes and then put it to private. So sometimes you get those gems. And once you subscribe, you'll see a join button right here. You click that join button. It's about $1.25 a week. Get involved. Now let's look at this data because the dippity dip is here. So let's talk about it. This is what I feel like right now. I feel so alive. Why? Because the crypto market feels like a dumpster fire to retail. How many of you are frustrated with the price action right now? You can't say you're not. I know I am, even though I've got the strategy. But then I take that frustration. I go, okay, that's my retail, small brain, scary money mind going. You know, all of us have that little bitch inside of us. Every single one of us. You do, I do. I mean, name the person. Ray Dalio, doesn't matter who they are. Everybody still has that sort of negative voice in your head. And then you go, oh, that's the negative voice that the dumb money me would use. Oh, that's the signal that scared frustration. That's the buy zone. So I layered in a little bit this morning, and that's why I said those with longer time horizons, seeing this as an incredible buying opportunity for Bitcoin and altcoins, follow the smart money. And we're going to talk about that right now because we got the fear and greed index right now down to 25 on in the crypto market, specifically Bitcoin. But these tend to mark where that pivot happens, where everybody starts to get flushed out. And again, we could still get a little bit lower prices. There's no telling when this market's going to reverse. This is why when we get these dips and we start pulling back from 109,000, I'm layering in. I layered into Ondo last week. Is it down? Sure. But I'm still going to be layering in and lowering my average entry because I think we're still at this part of the market where higher probability of going up than like this is just the top of the market. And I'm going to show you a couple of reasons why. Well, first off, this is scaring the hell out of people. You saw earlier today, there was this post about Blackrock was moving a bunch of coins to Coinbase. Well, on the one hand, if they're dumping it to Coinbase, remember Coinbase is their custodian. So this could be a bit of a manipulation in and of itself if people are misreading or understanding what this is. We got to, because this is all deposits. We want to see if there's large sales, and we can we'll notice this when we look tomorrow over here on the the ETF tracker. If we start to see this and it is dipping, and I expect we'll still get a bigger sell-off because there's a lot of retail players that are buying these ETFs. They're not used to these type of dips. Hell, a 5% dip in a traditional asset over 2 days is some scary thing. In crypto, you could have a 20% dip in the matter of 5 hours. But we've seen this resolve to the upside time and time again, and we're going to show that to you in the data. This is just an example of 2016 into 2017 bull run. This is just some. This doesn't even identify all of these drawdowns. Minus 38%, minus 38%, minus 33%. And look at this. This is on the way up, and it went from $200 to just under $20,000. 10x. And along the way, I believe there was 11 dips of 15% or more. There was 8 dips of 25 to 40% on the way up from 200 to 20,000. So this is not something that's abnormal. When we look at where we're at right now in the market, okay, we had a 23% dip back there in January, February last year, maybe a little bit after that, but early last year. Then we had a 20% dip over the summer. Then we had this right here. We had this, this was a sell-off, push up into the ETF. And then, oh my God, the ETF isn't exciting. Oh my God, it dropped 29%. No, they are here to, when people get over exuberant around bullishness, and they can see it in the open interest on leverage, when there's a lot of open interest on leverage, and you can also see it in these liquidation heat maps, which right here, coinglass.com, and then come up here to liquidations, coinglass.com, go to liquidation heat map, boom. Yeah, you pull up this liquidation heat map, and then you can see this is on the 1 week. And notice if we come out here to, for instance, let's go to the monthly, load it up. So here's, let's actually go longer. I want to go to 1 year. So, I mean, you see this, people getting very over exuberant for shorts. For longs here, getting over exuberant for longs. I'm flipping my mind here. A lot of people are shorting when it gets up into here, and more people are shorting. And you see all of these stack up of shorts. So when all these people are stacking up as shorts, okay, let's go and liquidate them. You get basically a short squeeze, and then the short squeeze just evaporates people's willingness to sell, and then everybody goes long. And then as people have gone long, we see the same thing play out. Everybody goes long and short, long and short. So you're getting all of this liquidation. So all these people are going long along the way at different levels of 1.5x, 2x, 5x, 10x, 50x, so on and so forth. And you get all this liquidity that piles up below you, a free capital in the market, that if the market is able to push down, market makers, exchanges, major players in the market, they see this data just like you do. They just act on it. They say, okay, there's all of this liquidity down here. If we can kind of just, sell here, sell off here, sell here, and not shorts, just really spot market selling on the pricing. Some shorts as well, of course. But if you can get the price action move down here, you get to force close all these longs that have liquidation levels that they have to close. Otherwise, the entire portion gets either liquidated or they're forced to close, which a forced close of a long is a short. It's a sell. So look, they've scooped all that up. So what does this look like now when we're looking here on the 3-day? Now look at this. We've scooped up all the shorts, all the longs. Now the people are hesitant to go long, and look at where all the liquidity is. All the liquidity is above us right now. Does that mean it has to go up there and tap it? No, but it does mean, much like a magnet, we're getting a huge amount of liquidity interest well above us. So if we do get some sort of move up, we need to pay attention to one, we have this liquidity magnet above us. So we need to pay attention as we push up into here, because we also have a CME futures gap, yes, below us at 78 to 80,000, but we also had one open up yesterday at this basically $94,000 level right in this node. So it wouldn't be out of context for the price action even to come up in here before it continues down. Or come up in here, have a little bit of a sell-off, have the bulls come in and show where they're defending the area, and then have the continuation. Either way, we need to pay attention to where the liquidity interest is on the chart. Now, when we come back over here and we realize why is Bitcoin crashing? Why is crypto? It's over for crypto. Oh my, I'm a self-made victim. We're not going to do that nonsense here, because it's not Bitcoin. It's not crypto. Look, the U.S. tech stocks breaking down. Okay, that doesn't shock you. Well, then let's go ahead and look at this. The Magnificent Seven coming back towards the July 2024 highs. Now, what is this? This isn't Bitcoin. This isn't crypto. This is Amazon. This is Google. This is, the major tech stocks out there, and we're seeing them break down pretty substantially here. And people go, why is Bitcoin crashing? Have you seen the freaking markets? The markets are spooked right now from tariffs and the changing in tariffs and what's going on. There's uncertainty, and the smallest amount of uncertainty in the market allows market makers to layer onto that uncertainty by, like, if there's starting to be that sell wave, the momentum, then they just dump and they push that market further down until they decide, okay, we found that bottom, and then it reverses ferociously. I mean, look at this. Huge sell-off. Where'd it come back to? Right to these range highs. And then what happened? V-shaped correction. Oh no, we tripped you out. Oh, continued up. This is a trader's dream, but unfortunately most people say they're traders when in reality their emotions are trading their money away from them rather than using meaningful strategy. So as we see right here, this is coming in to this sort of range right here, but this looks a lot more substantiated. We got to see what happens if the tech stocks continue to fall. I expect that will put continued pressure on Bitcoin as well. Now look at what's going on here. The downside deviation below the range low of the reaccumulation range is now in progress. So let's dissect this. The downside deviation below the range low. So here's a range low, downside deviation. Now we're down below. Okay, so here's a range low, downside deviation. Okay, here's a range. The range low is roughly about right here. Here's a deviation. The range, here's a range low. We kind of tried to deviate, but barely got it. Range low, the deviation. The range low, the deviation. So similarly, we've seen this play out time and time again. So is this just that move that I've been talking about nonstop since about October regarding the fact that these markets are so bullish underlying with what's happening over into the next, years, that it's so easy to take advantage of this market right now that we're seeing fake outs. In fact, here you see these broadening wedges tend to break out to the upside. What did it do? It broke out to the upside. But what did it do first? It deviated like a mofo to the downside. It said, trapping people, just bear trapping the hell out of people, only to then slingshot to the upside. Okay, similarly, we've seen this time and time again with even on smaller time frames, looking at 2 hours, 4 hours, so on and so forth. Okay, right here, we saw it. We've talked about this. We have a falling wedge. They tend to break bullish. Oh, it did. Fake out, bitch. Come down. Now fake out to the downside. Whether we continue further down or find a bottom here, this just trap people long, trap people short. Is it going to trap people further short? The point here is you can't jump at the exact breakout unless you have very tight stop losses if you're trading. If you're DCAing in to hold these coins for a number of months into wherever you identify the cycle top to take profits or whatever your profit taking strategy is, then, I'm layering in here. I'm layering in here. I'm layering in here. If it goes lower, I'll layer in there. When we're looking at things like Ondo, yeah, I felt good. I felt good buying here in this range, at the bottom side of this range. I felt good buying when it dropped a little bit further. I'm not mad at that. Today, my biggest debate was, man, I really want more Ondo. Oh, but that was one of those things that I've been layering into already. And I was like, you know what I haven't layered into lately? Aerodrome. So does it make me mad a little bit? I'm like, but you got to pick where you're going to be splitting your money into. And, in this case, I had not DCA'd or done any purchases on Aerodrome since somewhere, it's probably somewhere, I think my average was about $1.14. Yeah, right here. So I threw 1,000 more into Aerodrome today. Right. Let's see. I got it at 62,270. So 62, let's go down to the 24-minute chart. 62,270, which would have been, right about right here. So if this ended up being the bottom with this W formation, the start of the breakout, this is where I got it. Because we're starting to see a little bit, we got the bullish divergences down here on the 24-minute, so if this can maintain this higher low and start to work back up, great. If this drops lower, I will DCA and lower. Kelly, mod me for the culture. Multi-sig dummy. Alexandra G is our queen mod. So you got to woo her with love and flowers and 33 hearts, and she will determine. Because sometimes I don't know who's a mod and who's not. And if somebody's been waiting, I just don't want to displace somebody that's been waiting. But big love, man. I always appreciate you being here. Yo, Kelly, I'm more bullish than the most bullish Bitcoin maxi ever. Good morning. Well, you know what? We got some more data to look at. And this is just a reminder. Even if this does break down and break this trend that we're seeing, this is still a bullish structure all the way down here into that $75,000 to $77,000 range, because it still would be filling up that CME futures gap that we've had, major CME futures gap, down in that 70. And it would also be just basically retesting this previous range high. And then we got this Bollinger Bands tight as a mofo right here. Look at this. RSI as low as it could be. This is actually the Bollinger Band width. The Bollinger Band width, so how tight this is as tight as it's been since late 2018. And just note, when that happened, it led to a 50% drop in just over a month. But this was also at the end of the bull cycle, where the market was, that was the trend. It also, in mid-2023, record tightness led to a 200% climb in just over 200 days. I still think we've got a lot of bullishness ahead of us. So if we do get a dip, I'm buying so I can take advantage of the rip. That's all I'm saying. You got to do what's right for you. Do not over allocate yourself. Do not get yourself in a bad position. And as I shared in the member stream this morning, this chart right here from TechDev, you won't believe it, but everything is just in place. Look at this. The roundingness of the altcoin market caps is everything we're seeing here with Bitcoin, with everything going on, where the market has had its pause coming in to this moving average. It's had the roundingness, a little sell-off, a little pump fake, then launch. A little roundingness, a little bit of sell-off consolidation, a little pump fake, then launch. Okay, roundingness, consolidation, and do a little bit of a pump fake. Guys, I still think we're in, because this is, we're still doing everything like we've seen in previous cycles, and people are just losing their minds. Bitcoin's most aggressive sell-off since the 5th of August. Remember, August 5th, what happened August 5th? We had the markets absolutely, the very beginning of August, absolutely dump. Coming back over here, where is August? September, October. This is August right here. So this massive just sell-off, very end of July right here. Look at this. Look at that. That's a 30% drop. And so when you consider we had a 30% drop back then, and we're seeing this is the most aggressive sell-off since that date, the 2-hour RSI has not been this low for the past 6 months. This is basically as low as it was when we got that sell-off. This also marked where the reversal started. Now, yes, we got a bit of a V-shape correction there, but it still had to come back and form a higher low, push back up, form a higher low. And you see this slowly starts to curve up. So am I expecting now, with some of the data signals suggesting we could be in a bottom right now where we do get a move up? Sure, but I don't think it's just going to be let me see. Yeah, okay. Just want to make sure it was bright. I don't think it's going to be a move just like this. Okay. I don't think it's just going to be a V shape where we just absolutely moonshot from here. I think the likelihood of what we're going to see here is going to be something more in the vein of like we saw in August, because now you have to remember market sentiment is sort of shot, right? So it's hard to get liquidity just to pour in. So we might get this move up and then a sell off down, but we get a higher low, move up, sell off a little bit of sideways, move up, into March, and we start to resolving to curve to the upside. You know what I mean? So it's not just going to be a straight move up. We've got to start building the confidence of the market. Now, the flip side of that is if we get some sort of major international announcement. We saw Abu Dhabi was buying into their sovereign wealth fund. So they actually really started this international race. Although we've been talking about a strategic Bitcoin reserve, we haven't seen any meaningful action on it other than some committee meetings. Now, if that's announced or something happens like that, that just flips all the bearish sentiment gone away. If we start getting a cascading state level approvals and moving on that, because we're already seeing 3 of the states have already basically had their bills die. I think it was Montana, Wisconsin, and another one. I can't remember the other one. Their strategic Bitcoin reserves at the state level have died in those 3 of the 32 states that have started moving towards it. If we see Apple, hey, we're allocating to Bitcoin, changes the narrative immediately. We see Google already is building into wallet integrations and simplifying the experience for their Google users. And think about how many people use How many people use Google globally? Let's actually, you know what? Let's ask Rock. I don't ever use this. We should use some AI more often, and doing it in a meaningful way, because nothing used on AI is any sort of proven thing. It just helps to aggregate some data. And let's see, how many people use Google daily? Let's see. Let's see what it says. It's going to be ridiculous in the total number. Google processes around 8.5 billion searches a day. Okay. So approximately 2 billion, about 2.4 billion daily users of Google search alone. That's just Google search. Then you think about email, then you think about Gmail has 1.8 billion. If they are integrating into Bitcoin wallets or any other crypto wallets, I would guess, and this is speculation, that would indicate to me that they're likely also going to start having some sort of treasury or something allocated towards this as well. Maybe they'll just do the picks and shovels thing with services and tools. That could be the case. But I think when this dam breaks, of whether it's Amazon, Google, Microsoft already declined in December at their shareholder meeting, but they didn't fully close it off. They said maybe later about having a Bitcoin reserve. But the amount, I mean, Apple alone has like $150 billion cash treasury. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So when we start wondering about the bottom in Bitcoin right now, what could happen and what's going to be the catalyst, there's so much bullishness that's right here on the horizon. And a lot of the framework for everything that can happen that's going to be beyond our wildest dreams. And we're getting chopped out as retail, frustrated on the 1 hour, 4 hour, or even daily chart because it's not moving up now. The forest has been cleared. They've poured the concrete. You got all the construction vehicles out there. You got the crew out there. You know that there's going to be a building in that spot. And yet somebody goes, how come I can't move in yet? Well, sometimes you have to wait for things to get built. All the framework and architecture is there. It's just some further little actions that need to take place. And most people are going to miss it because they're going to wait until those things happen. And the price is just going to be moving so far ahead. And what they're going to do is they're going to be like, oh, maybe if it pulls back to 140, maybe I'll buy it. But the same thing just happened when it went to 109,000. People said, well, if it drops below 100, I'll buy again. Now at 86, they're like, oh, no, I'm not going to buy now. Let's not be jackasses. Let's set a course of action. Let's set a strategy. Let's stick to it. And let's make sure we're not over allocating ourselves, but we're also making sure we're taking advantage of the best asset in the history of the world. Guys, I love you. I appreciate you. I think there's so much more bullishness to come in MORPHO. I mean, look at MORPHO. I was almost buying it up here, and I'm glad I didn't because, I mean, this is giving me, even from this high, look at this discount. I can buy it at a 60% discount now. So my next allocation, I still want to get into MORPHO. In this case, I kind of hope that it does continue to fall. Oops. There we go. We got a bit of a sort of rising channel there that broke down. Okay, great. Now it's sitting here, right here at this sort of double bottom here. If this loses, then I'm looking at the price going a bit lower, down into here where this bounced and this rejected. We see Velodrome. We haven't looked at Velodrome in a minute. Look at that. God dang it. Just it feels like it's dead, right? Well, this is still very much a part of the optimism ecosystem, and they got the super chain and all that. Same, it's the same sort of design as Aerodrome, but on optimism. 80% discount. For those that either want to lower their average entry or maybe they haven't gotten in yet, Velodrome looking, could it go lower? Sure. But we're kind of getting into a very sort of base, golly, come on, click 7 times for it to work. There we go. Kind of this base here where kind of have this, the opening price, but then the bounce levels here, we're sitting in here. Could we go a bit lower? Sure. But to me, this would be a great DCA zone. Pangolin, haven't looked at Pangolin in a minute. Golly, just selling off. We're right back to the previous range high. You see that? And then we got Kaspa. Kaspa, we haven't looked at this in a long time. Probably said somewhere over in here. It's been a long time since we looked at this. But look at this breakdown, guys. These charts told you the story. Look, broke down, came up, rejected twice at the zone and look, just coming down. Now, will this come all the way down into this level down here? I don't know, because that would be another that would melt people's faces. That's another 38% drop from here. Very possible. This looks very stair-steppy downy. If this is able to hold in this region, that would be great. I don't expect this to fall all the way down to here, but it depends on if we get the market continuing to nuke to the downside. I am more inclined to think that we're going to have, we got to have a bullish month at some point, right? What the hell? We had all this huge sort of upside price action following the election. And I think this is just reclaiming some of that inefficiency, giving people, bigger players out there, an opportunity to still stack in now that they're getting their wits about them, understanding this asset class. So for me, I'm not actively trading on a daily basis. I'm taking trades here and there, but I'm primarily finding positions to take for the coming months into the end of the year to really ride the wave that's going to come in. The graph also, I mean, that looks just like we saw on, what was that, Caspa. Looks very similar. Came right back down into the zone, come over here to the 12-hour. I mean, this is just chopping. Yeah, great. I mean, I think there's so many great opportunities right now. Atom, Cosmos, I mean, right back down into a base. This looks like a great opportunity zone as well, right in here. TIA, we haven't looked at TIA in quite a minute here. Very ugly. Kind of came down. Look at this. Look at where this tested. Right over here. But currently this looks like it's trying. A lot of altcoins are looking like they're trying to bottom. In fact, we have some other charts here. I mean, right here. Also new, Bitcoin dropping while Bitcoin dominance is also dropping, meaning the alts have are starting to find, at least in the near term, a little bit of a floor. This means many altcoins are forming a local bottom while Bitcoin makes new lows. Not saying we can't drop more here, but this has not been the case for a long time. So this is very good. And then on top of all this, Michael Saylor just shared the digital asset framework he presented to the SEC last week, pushing for $590 trillion crypto market. He only mentioned Bitcoin 4 times. Do you understand the seismic shift here? He's not just saying Bitcoin any longer for the nation, maybe for himself, but he's actually speaking about the importance of the digital assets beyond Bitcoin, from 1 trillion to 590 trillion, with the U.S. leading the charge. So there are seismic shifts, and people are losing their minds out here in the face of a little adversity. Adversity is where the diamonds are made, so let's absolutely do it. We see Wales just bought $2.5 billion worth of Bitcoin earlier this morning. I mean, guys, the cost basis of Ethereum has been moving lower, indicating investors have been accumulating on the way down. So guys, we're seeing bullish signs. And then of course, want to just drop this here. When you're trying to figure out what coins to be looking at, you can follow things like this, where you see coins with the most notable development activity over the last 30 days. You got ICP, Chainlink, Optimism, Cardano, Starknet, HBAR, Ethereum, Polkadot. Polkadot also has some of those ETF applications in, I think from Grayscale, Kusama, Eigenlayer. There's still a lot going on in this market, everybody. So with that being said, what 3 coins are you most bullish on to be at the end of this year? I'm curious. Let me know in the comments right now, whether you're watching on YouTube or on X. Drop a comment. Let me know, what 3 coins are you most bullish on at the end of this year that's going to have the most bullish for you. Curious to see what you guys got to say. And with that being said, again, remember, channel partners, head over to nordvpn.com/BitLab. And the link is directly right here. If you come right here, boom. Where is it at? nordvpn.com, right here, /BitLab. Click on that. You get 4 months free. There's so many different things going on online with hacking and phishing and, being blocked out of being able to use certain exchanges. That's not illegal for you. That's the exchange's limitation. You're able to log into any of those things. But in order to do that, sometimes you got to head over to nordvpn.com /BitLab. You get 4 months free. Of course, remember, head over to Arculus. Make sure you get to getarculus.com. Use code BitLab20 for 20% off. The best crypto cold storage solution out there. And then, of course, if you want to get into our free traders group where we got signals going all day long, every day, that link is right here. Join our free traders group. Click on that. It shows you how to do it. And, of course, that link directly below, lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. You see that? If you join there, I would recommend, you don't need to take any of the upgrades. Join there. We're going to be rolling. Everybody that's a member there is going to be grandfathered into the massive integration we're doing with everything over at with DC, Discover Crypto and Blockchain Basement. So take advantage of this while the deal's there as well. Big love to you guys. I love you all. I really do. Again, make sure you follow me over here at Kelly Kellum and at Academy BitLab. I love you guys more than you know. I'll be doing a 3 p.m. stream today, 3 p.m. Eastern time with Drew over on the Mario Nafal channel. You see it. This channel right here. I've been hosting stuff in the afternoons over there fairly regularly. So make sure you're following along there. All kind of different content, from everything from meme coins to panels with developers. And today, Drew and I are going to hop on there and break down the charts and the markets and everything because the market's scary for people right now. And we want to talk some sense in everybody. I love you all. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Ding the bell. I'll see ya in the next one. I'm going to send you over to Blockchain Basement now. So adios, muchachos.